Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janvallabha Jaya Girivaradhari
Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janvallabha Girivaradhari
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So, very warm welcome to all of you for today's session on the Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll start our session with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswati Vyasam. Tatum Jayamudire. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So we discussed in our previous session that how a living entity, a human being who has not been a devotee and leaves his body, what all tribulations he undergoes, suffers from shut-trip, suffers from hunger, thirst, and along with that, the Yamdutas are there who try to torture that living entity, that Jiva. And he cannot do anything because now the time has gone. When he was a human being, he could have done something about it. But now, as humans, you can't do much about it. So, and we discussed that that's why there is provision in our Vedic scriptures that son and daughter, they can help that Jiva. They can make regular offerings to their ancestors by which at least the torture which the Yamdutas are giving to that Jiva, uh, the Jiva can be to some extent get some relief because of the good deeds of the children of this person, especially if the son and daughter they are devotees. They can really help that Jiva to get some relief. And we also discussed that for devotees, these things don't exist because devotees don't undergo this path. Um, the Ashtanga Yoga process or any other process which people follow that ultimately leads to Bhakti Yoga. And anyone who has performed even little Bhakti Yoga, he gets saved by the Lord. So now today we'll begin our discussion with text 23, Shloka number 23 of the 30th chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. तत्र तत्र पतंश्रन्तो मूर्छितः पुनरुत्थितः तथा पापीयसानीतस्तरसा यमसाधनम् तत्र तत्र पतंश्रान्तो मूर्छितः पुनरुत्थितः पथा पापीयसानीतस्तरसा यमसाधनम्. Translation. While passing on that road to the abode of Yamraj, he falls down in fatigue and sometimes he becomes unconscious, but he is forced to rise again. In this way, he is very quickly brought to the presence of Yamraj. Now you see, as we discussed in our previous session also, similar thing is mentioned here also. That after certain number of days, that Jiva reaches the place of or the planet of Yamraj. So Tatra Tatra Shranto. Patan means to fall down, to basically um, get hurt by falling down. Shrant means tired. Murchita means to be unconscious, to become unconscious. Punaruthita, and then again get up and walk. Patha apyasanitas. Path means the road, the path which leads to the planet of Yamaraj. So Papiyasa, so whole the whole passage to the planet of Yamaraj, Papiyasa. Papiyasa means it is full of it is full of sinful activities of people, sinful tendencies of people. And Tarasayam sadhana. Tarasa means very quickly, in this way, the Jiva, the living entity, accompanied by the Yamaduta, it reaches the planet of Yamraj. Right. So this is how the Jiva, even though he is tired, he has fallen down, but that does not matter. The Yamdutas, they are used to all these things and they still keep torturing that Jiva. And ultimately, after being tortured like this for so long, he reaches the planet of Yamraj. Now, this planet of Yamraj is, of course, the predominating person, the predominating deity of that planet is Yamraj, who leads that planetary system. But it is full of there are so many so-called provisions to punish a jiva, right? So in this way, Yamraj, he is able to give proper punishment to every jiva, whatever he or she deserves. No one gets, there is the principle of material world, that everyone gets what is due. No one gets what is not due. Okay. So this is all because of the past karma and past activities of the jiva, because of which this jiva is suffering. So it is all because of his doing, his actions. and predominantly because he did not engage in devotional service to Krishna. That is the root cause of the suffering which he is undergoing. Text 24. Text 24, Shloka number 24. Yojan sahasrani navatim navachadvanah ऋभिर्मुहूर्तैर्द्वाभ्यां वा नीतः प्राप्नोति यातनाः. योजनानां सहस्राणि नवतिं नवचाध्वनः त्रिभिर्मुहूर्तैर्द्वाभ्यां वा नीतः प्राप्नोति यातनाः. Translation. Thus he has to pass 99,000 yojanas within 2 or 3 moments, and then he is at once engaged in the torturous punishment which he is destined to suffer. So, as we have discussed, that a living entity reaches there, and after that, Yamaraj is sitting there to give punishment to all the living entities on earth. So, Yamaraj is the predominating deity who awards punishment to all the jivas. And that's a thankless job given to Yamaraj. It's not that Yamaraj wants to do that because Yamaraj is a pure devotee of Krishna always. That's why they are given this punishment. The jivas who have surpassed the amount so-called because there's a limit till which a jiva, if he performs sinful actions, up to that limit, punishments are not so severe. But when the sinful activities of a jiva surpass a certain limit, then he has to suffer. So, what is the distance of Yama, the planet of Yamloka from here? So, it is mentioned Yojananam Sahasrani. Sahasra means 1,000, and Yojana means Yojan is a measuring. It's a way we measure water and whatever we water bodies or whichever come in between. So it's a way of measuring the distance. So yojananam sahasrani. So yojan sahasrani, thousand. Sahasrani navati. Navati means 99 and sahasra means 1,000. So yojananam sahasrani navati. So 99,000. Okay. And navati nava. Navati means 9 and nava means again 9. Okay. So navatim nava means 99 and sahasrani means 1,000. So 99,000 is the number of yojanas that a jiva has to cover to reach Yamaraj. Tribhir muhurta dvabhyam va. So in this way, Trivir Muhurta, within three Muhurtas, so in three Muhurtas, Dvabhyam, or in two Muhurtas, Dvabhyam is two, Trivir means three. So in two or three Muhurtas, a living entity, Nitah Prapnoti Yatana, Nitah Prapnoti Yatana. Yatana means severe punishment. So the living entity has to reach the planet of Yamaraj and he reaches there for what? Yatana, severe punishments. Prapnoti. Prapnoti means to attain or to achieve. So the achievement, what is the achievement of a jiva when he reaches Yamloka? Severe punishments are given to him. Severe punishments. We cannot even imagine the kind of punishment that the jiva gets in these planetary systems. So you see, material body has limitations. Or subtle body does not have any limitation because material body has to be subjugated to the laws of the material nature. Right? But the subtle body, subtle means it can penetrate material layers very easily. So that is why here the living entity reaches the planet of Yamloka in subtle body. There is not a gross body. Right? And that is why this subtle body can be mercilessly tortured, mercilessly tortured without any danger of or fear. So we can see the speed of the living entity. 99,000 yojanas in just 2 or 3 muhurtas. Muhurt means very short time, less than a second. Even modern so-called machines or modern automobiles or even spacecraft, they can't travel so fast, isn't it? Can any modern invention cover a distance of 99,000 yojanas in 2 or 3 muhurtas? It's impossible. So that is basically the science which that is the speed at which the jiva travels to these upper planetary systems. And that's it surpasses all the speeds of all the instruments of this material world. Why? Because it is subtle. As I explained, subtle body has no limitations. Gross body has limitations. Now, text 25, shloka number 25. Adipanam swagatanam वेष्टयित्वोन्मुखादिभिः आत्ममां सादरं क्वापि स्वकृतं परतोऽपि वा आदीप आदीपनं स्वगात्राणां वेष्टयित्वोन्मुखादिभिः आत्ममां सादरं क्वापि स्वकृतं परतोऽपि वा. Translation: He is placed in the midst of burning pieces of wood, and his limbs are set on fire. In some cases, he is made to eat his own flesh or have it eaten by others. You see, so whatever the living entity does not like in human body, all that is whatever we hate in our human life, all that will be given as punishment. If a person is non-devotee, if a person is not a devotee of Krishna. So it is mentioned he is placed in the midst of burning pieces of wood. Do we like that? No. But this is the punishment given. Then his limbs are set on fire. Adipanam for Gatrana. Gatrana means limbs. Adipanam means basically they are put in fire. Veshtayitvo Atma Mans Sadhanam Kwapi. Atma Mamsa, his own flesh, he is eating. Swakritam Paratopiva. So sometimes other people eat his flesh, or sometimes he himself eats his own flesh. So these are the different kinds of punishment which a human being does not like. So because the human being does not like this punishment, right? So everything what a human body dislikes, so terrible punishment we see here. The hands and lips are tied, hands and limbs are tied. That person is made to eat his own flesh, and others are also eating his flesh. So will a person like it? No. Text 26, Shloka number 26. जीवतश्चान्त्र युद्धारः स्वगभयत् यम साधने सर्पवृश्चिक दंसाद्यैर् दशद्भिश्चात्मवैशनम् जीवतश्चान् जीवतश्चान्त्राभ्युद्धारः स्वगृध्रैर्यम साधने सर्पवृश्चिक दंशादैर् दशभिश्चात्मवैशनम्. Translation: His entrails are pulled out by the hounds and vultures of hell, even though he is still alive to see it, and is subjected to torment by serpents, scorpions, bats, and other creatures that bite him. You see? So Yatana Deha. If you remember a few shlokas back, we discussed that this body is called Yatana Deha, this Pret Yoni or the astral body which a person achieves is called Yatana Deha. And Yatana means severe punishment will be given, and a person must be ready to receive it. So we can see why Yatana Deha is called, because so much of severe punishment is given one cannot even imagine in human life. So these are the yatanas given to this jiva. You see, these are the severe entailments, severe punishments, torture given to this jiva. Why? Why? So, because so here it is mentioned Jivatas Chantra Pyudhana. Jivatas Chantra. Chantra means Swagradhaya Yama Sadhane. Yam Sadhane means Yam Sad means the amount of Yamraj. So Swagradhaya. This person's body is torn apart by dogs and vultures. Sarva Vrishtik Dam Sadhya. And snakes and scorpions also, they come and try to torture that jiva even more. You see, so different jivas come to punish him, different the Yamadutas try to torture him, different jivas punish him. He is tortured by hunger, thirst. He has to eat his own flesh. Sometimes others also eat his flesh. So it's terrible and horrible way of torture and punishment, but that's what it is. So only if a person is a devotee of the Lord can be saved from all these things. A non-devotee has to undergo all these tribulations. It's a must for them. So that is what we are seeing here. Those who are new to the channel can subscribe, or if you can like, comment, share. We'll stop here. We'll continue our discussion in the next session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.